First of all, I love dance or anything that really make the body move, especially dancing to music or to any kind of sounds that you can project through the body. The second one is I love to dance very much on stage and also in the classes. And the last one is I love to transmit the joy of movement through teaching or performing. And I never saw a difference between teaching or to see myself as a teacher or as a choreographer or as a dancer. They were always going through each other, all together making who I am. I feel like a really good big fish in the ocean, so I can feel, swimming and going to many places that I would like, or flying like a bird, and that's when I tune into whatever we call the world of dance. When I was in New York City, I was always seen as an artist of dance. Not really like a choreographer, not really like a teacher, not really like a performer, but everything was like, okay, this is David. Many times they call me the improviser, David Zambrano. When I came to Europe, that popularity as somehow a good teacher was very strong, so immediately they placed me in the teacher category. So it was very difficult to ask to theaters, can I perform my work here, because immediately they would say no, but you are a teacher. It was very difficult to ask for money or funding. In Holland, for example, many times I apply for funding and they say, the answer is, we don't believe in your creativity, we believe that you are a good teacher. When I started dancing, I went all the way. I was doing computer science and all of a sudden I wanted to just dedicate totally into dance, into movement. So I started running, jumping rope, taking all the things that I could take to learn more about, techniques or styles of dance. And like immediately 6 months later, I got very strong shin splints, and then I continued because it was no so strong pain. And then immediately after, the ligaments of the arches, the middle arches, they collapsed. So I couldn't walk for like maybe 6 months. I mean, I was obliged to use shoes with orthopedic arches, and I decided not to do that. I didn't want to stop dancing because I just started. So I went into the floor and I rolled from one side to the other side, one side to the other side, and I continued rolling through the floor and moving through the floor. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just moving my energy. I had to move. When I went to New York, and my friends or dancers, dance mates, they would see me warming up. They would say, wow, you look like you're flying low. Can you teach me that? And I say, yeah, sure. So that's how I started, and my friends gave the title of Flying Low. I play a lot with momentum, which is like the mass and the velocity. When you go into the ground and you feel like you are sliding for a moment, it's just an instant moment of freedom that you can play with your arms and legs to however you want. You can shape it in many different ways. So I realized that I could make a fantastic vocabulary from that. I can always play spontaneously with the class because I always taught like that. I never wrote the class down. I never warm up the class to go and teach it. I always went and did it in front of people. I approached it the same way that I was approaching performing. But in the repetition, I realized that some things come back, and then many times there are the things that we like or I like, and I continue developing that and taking it farther until I transform it into what I call nowadays passing through, which is an instant composition that you go under, over and around each other as a group. And that is pretty much where Flying Low is right now. I started teaching it following the tradition of dance with frontal, facing the mirrors, or facing a wall, or everybody in the same direction, and lines. And later, when I have the opportunity to teach it for professionals that have been taking my classes many times, we go in all directions. So it's spontaneously, I pass on the movement phrases which are set, but the dancers can take in different pathways under, over and around each other. So it's quite spontaneous also. Many people ask me why when I go on a stage I don't use the phrases from Flying Low. And it's very interesting because I always saw the set phrases as something that is really good for helping me to keep in shape and to interconnect with the room and in a simple way with a group of dancers. But when I go to research on a piece or I go to perform spontaneous on the stage as a solo, I always play with something that it goes beyond the phrases of Flying Low. I never love to repeat the phrases of Flying Low in my choreographic work. Every time that I will go through a new project, I like to approach it like a new book. So the body has for sure all the possibilities to express itself. Even if some scenes come back similar, still there are many different qualities and timings and musicalities that we can still explore, at least just for my own sake, and I like it very much. Right? Dancing has been the best tool I ever chosen in my life to get to know myself even more. So, another question? Always like to work with people from different cultures and putting it together inside a room and to make a little bit like United Nations room, and then go inside and then research with the dancers. Many times I work with dancers that they can spontaneously and without any embarrassment or shame, they project their own life experience through the movement. Every time that I will go back to America, they treat me like a delinquent, like the police immigration is very tough, and I felt very, going back again through these borders, and then I always thought, okay, if I'm going to work in a room, I would like to work at that we can exchange information from different cultures without borders, or you know your borders, but you can go through the borders. Pretty much I direct from the outside, but I don't teach the dancers specific steps. I work pretty much with thoughts or images that can help their bodies and also my body to move in the different ways that we are accustomed. The way that a lot of dancers they train is hard. I mean, we are not, in general, we are not so much accustomed to do a full running for 2 hours up and down, or just transporting physically yourself through the room. The movement is a media to bring information from one place into the other. It's a tool that we can use to bring the body information or your body knowledge from one place into the other. So the transportation of the whole body was always very interesting for me, and that's how I developed my classes. So yes, I liked very much to move it through the room, to become part of the room, or to make the room move through me. I like very much the Greek culture because somehow I feel that this Greek culture is like the big influence of all the Latin cultures. So there is some strong relationship of Latin America and here. So the way that people speak, sometimes I don't know if they're speaking Spanish or Greek, and because of the gestures and all the hands and face information that pass through when they are talking. There is the humor is also somehow related. So I feel somehow clicking into the culture. I like very much. The spirit of the dancers, I find that also most of the Greek dancers I have in my classes, and also I have worked with a few of them, like Hermes from Athens. I find that they're very strong and powerful. So they like to move also. So I relate to it, and so I like to come back to Greece. Yes. The landscape of Greece where the sky and the sea are like one. You don't know the difference, and the islands, it feels like they are floating, and you don't know if they are floating in the sky or you don't know if they're floating in the sea. And I found that amazing experience, you know, like, wow. Since I started until now, if I look back where I was and where I am now, I think that I have discovered many more pathways and that help me to continue moving how I have been doing it. You know, for some people sometimes when they are 20, they are fantastic dancers, you know, and then when they get 40, whatever they can do when they were 20, they cannot do it anymore. For me, it's happening almost the opposite. I feel more and more like a child the older I get with movement. So I get more possibilities for playing, and that playfulness is infinite. So I don't know who's gonna stop me.